Hello there, Sir Hexapod Busby here. Welcome to my special treehouse. That's right, treehouse. You caught me reading a truly fantastic, inspirational book. It's called Buzzy's Beetley Big Adventure by Sir Hexapod Busby. It's about a funny and handsome man called Sir Hexapod Busby. Now, Sir Hexapod Busby is an entomologist. No, that's not someone who logs entoms. That would be ridiculous. It's actually someone who wastes the best years of their life studying insects. So, find a comfy seat, pour yourself a refreshing drink, and listen to Buzzy's Beetley Big Adventure. From the busiest ant to the most silly bee, one chap knows all creepy crawlies. It's me! So look to the jungle and you'll probably see Lord of the Insects, Hexapod Busby. If that seems like a mouthful, then don't worry, cuz. If you like, you can shorten my name down to Buzz. You don't know your thorax from your mandible fuzz? Then speak to the wonderful chap, me, who does. So armed with such knowledge of all six-legged things, you'll be surprised to learn that I'm not lunching with kings, but stuck in the crystal maze, lamenting my tings, trying to find peace in a stag beetle's wings. I'll tell you the tale, and I'll try not to hurry, of how I departed my nice home in Surrey, in search of all manner of creatures that scurry, and I'll try not to dwell too much on the failure of my marriage. Hold it together, Buzz. Let's return to the court of our fabled Queen Vic. From the Orient I had brought her a nice stick, insect called Tim, but it didn't do the trick. She had heard tell of a beetle as mean as old Nick. The giant rumpus beetle was the name of the beast. There's no nastier bug in the west or the east. Your mind's biggest insect is turned to the least. As its jaws click-a-clack, you'll soon beg for a priest. At least that is what the old legends do say. It is yet to be seen in the night or the day. But my queen ordered me, without much delay, to get on the hunt for this arthropod prey. With my mission laid out, I headed to the train. Thoughts of beetle-based glory dancing through my brain. But one terrifying thought. How would I explain my imminent absence to the old ball and chain? At this point in my story, I should take a break to lessen the impact of the coming heartache as I gaze at the memory, now cold and opaque, of Carol, my wife, in the arms of a beefcake. Oh, Carol, what have you done? You are the hero in your own story. You are the hero in your own story. Where was I? The train pulled up slowly without any mishap to my lovely home village, Little Chapton on the lap. Look, over the bowling green, our own flag did flap, an elderly rooster wearing a pink cap. I made my way home down the old cobbled streets, past Rudyard the baker, displaying his fresh treats, and Crippen the butcher, elbow deep in some meats, whistling a bright tune over terrified bleats. As my feet came to rest by my own garden gate, I plucked up some flowers to appease my soulmate. Surely my love would not be irate. A nice bunch of daffodils would her rage sedate. I glanced at my fobwatch. It was not quite yet 4. I was home very early, by 3 hours or more. Then a sound made me stop as I reached the front door. From inside the front room, I heard a faint roar. Then the roaring, it switched to the hooting of apes. As a man of the jungle, I've been in some scrapes. I've startled the locals and made daring escapes. But nothing prepared me as I peeped through the drapes. My eyes soon adjusted to a candle-lit mist, laid back on the table, where we liked to play whist, was a fleshy amalgam, my wife in a tryst, with Reginald Glottal, the entomologist. I couldn't believe it. I let out a mad shriek, to be cucked in my house by a fellow so meek, his spectacles steamed up with a scrawny physique, nevertheless was scaling Carol's south peak. As I snatched through the window, I bellowed, "Surprise! Would you kindly let go of my missus's thighs? Or by jingo, you won't find the need to surmise the origin of both your new shiny black eyes." Because he's an entomologist, you see. That's his whole deal, researching the origin and history of words. It was actually very clever of me, especially in the spur of the moment. Not that he seemed to get it. Honestly, sometimes I think I'm wasted on you people. Well, Carol, too. The number of solid gold, beetle-based puns I've made to her over the years, and what credit did I get? Bugger all! Barely cracked her face. And whilst we're on the subject of Carol, isn't it a bit of a coincidence that she settled on an entomologist to have an affair with? When I'm an entomologist? She knows full well how furious I get when people confuse the two. Layers upon layers of disrespect. A veritable Russian doll of "up yours, Buzz!" Sorry, but it needed to be said. Right, back to the rhyming. Still with me, kids? God, I need a drink. Ridge let out a squeal and dismounted my spouse. He covered his shame with my missus's blouse. Then, muttering faint pleasantries, he fled from the house and back to his own wife, like a human woodlouse. I stood before Carol, not sure what to do next. Her face was quite stony, with the subtle subtext of someone not pleased to be suddenly de-sexed. I could feel her rage growing, and it left me perplexed. She picked up a cigarette and lit up its tip, then inhaled a big drag with one hand on her hip. Her eyes snapped back to me with the crack of a whip as my self-righteous bravado began to slip. "Oh, what excellent work," she scoffed in my face. "You're 3 hours early. It's a total disgrace. Do you have any idea the time to unlace a corset? Dear Reg had hardly hit third base. And you're certainly wrong if you think he's the first, or the second or third. Our bed's very well versed in welcoming every chap I've coerced, in attempting to quench my insatiable thirst." I slumped in a chaise longue as Carol hit her flow. A list of indiscretions I'd rather not know. It seems Rudyard the baker also had a go, as did Crippen the butcher in her blow-by-blow. I learned Carol had tamed half of Surrey's workforce, but I was to blame, by my absence, of course. "It's me or the insects," she said sans remorse. I thought for a moment, then bellowed, "Divorce!" Is this perhaps getting a little bit dark for a children's story? I mean, you know me, I'm all for telling it like it is, nature red in tooth and claw and that, but do you think maybe there's such a thing as oversharing? I mean, what's the title we have for this thing? Buzzy's Beetley Big Adventure, right? It's just that at the moment it seems a more fitting title maybe The Cuckold's Lament, or Buzz and his singular failure to satisfy his wife, perhaps. Buzz and the echoing void at his core. Ring it in. Right. Yes. I'll go back to the Beatles stuff. Right. Cut to a week later, with my bag fully packed, with bug nets and khaki specimen jars intact, my mind fully focused on achieving the act of discovering whether the giant rumpus beetle was fact. Fresh rumours dictated that the bug was last seen in the Crystal Maze Aztec Zone, picking it clean of crystals. They were its most favoured cuisine. Buzz off on adventure, on a quest from the Queen! I travelled west by ocean for some 13 weeks. The thrill of the high seas put colour in my cheeks. I saw mermaids and whalefish and giant squid beaks, until in the distance the Aztec Zone's peaks. My heart leapt up higher than a salmon in fall, a jungle so massive it made Atlas seem small, and on the horizon, above trees so tall, a fine Aztec temple. I'd be there by nightfall. The ship dropped me off, and I ventured upstream. As evening grew dark, I hiked on by moonbeam. At my goal I found something, a cursed fever dream. Waiting by the temple, Carol's legal team. They looked out of place with an icy demeanour. It soon became clear that they couldn't be keener on getting the best deal for their client. I mean her. Carol would take me to the plural of cleaner. I tried to ignore them and keep on at my quest, but legal speak swarmed at me as from a wasp nest. Mediation and alimony were hard to digest. I just wanted them gone so I could finally rest. I grabbed the lead lawyer by his pinstriped lapel. "Give me papers to sign and a pencil as well," I said in a firm tone, akin to a yell, "and kindly do one to your home back in hell." The divorce papers signed, the lawyers quickly departed, leaving me quite alone in the jungle uncharted. The hunt for the beetle could finally get started, if it weren't for the thought that I'd just been outsmarted. I searched for the insect over hundreds of days, through Aztec Zone, medieval, the whole Crystal Maze. But the giant rumpus beetle eluded my gaze. The six-legged bastard caused me quite the malaise. As my hunt carries on, I think, is it a sham? A beetle so large it could well be a scam. And last week I found out in a new telegram that Carol has taken my house. Well, goddamn. But forget about that. Who really cares if I'm poor, and my ex has nabbed 60%, maybe more? I have followed my dreams with some pomp and grandeur, and have witnessed more wonders than I could ask for. So, if you find yourself down the Crystal Maze way, take some time to get lost. Why not do it today? And if you hear strange sounds, you might rightly say, "There goes Buzz in his giant beetle hunting foray." The end. That took it out of me. Well, gang, there we have it. Several decades stuck alone in a jungle with no rhyming dictionary, well spent. Now, like all truly exceptional works of literature, this one also contains a moral. Can you tell what it is? That's right. Always sign a prenup. Now, if you've enjoyed the video today, and I truly hope that you have, please do like, share, and subscribe. But for now, it's time to stop dwelling in the past. That beetle's not gonna hunt itself, you know. And I have two friends I'd like him to meet. Pain and glory. Let's get it on. Bye, everyone. Yeah!